Please be seated. The Busetsu Amida-kyo, there's this tempo that we get used to, and when you get thrown off the tempo, you get thrown off a lot. And basically, because we had to go slower today, I got confused at some spots and got jumbled up a little bit. But I think we did a relatively decent job. The Busetsu Amida-kyo is one of the three why people should want to go there. Why people should want to go there. Now, one of the issues with the concept of Pure Land is that right away people think of it as someplace to go. Okay? But another way of looking at the Pure Land is the fact that it's showing us the reality of our world by showing us what could be rather than what is. So it describes the features of the Pure Land and such, and it also tells us reasons why we should want to go to the Pure Land. And even though it seems to be telling us, this is a place to go, it's really showing us the defilements, the impurities, the problems of this realm. And one of the features is, there's one section in there that talks about, kue isho, meeting and always being together with good teachers, right? And that kue isho is, recently some of you may have noticed that there's a rock out there in the garden, and it has a calligraphy and the kue isho on there. This is donated by Mr. and Mrs. Tanaka, Koichi Tanaka. And the calligraphy on there comes from this passage. And it really, basically, the short translation for this is that you'll always be together with the people you meet. Right? And one of the basic teachings of Buddhism is the 8 sufferings, the 4 regular ones: birth, old age, illness, and death. And then there's 4 more that are added on: being apart from loved ones, meeting those you don't care for, not getting what you want, and then the changing of the senses. Now, birth, a lot of times people say this is referring to life. But no, really all 8 of these are referring to life, the sufferings that you experience in life. Right? And birth, most of us don't really remember, but it is traumatic. Not just for the mother, but for the child that's being born too. I mean, you're in a nice, comfortable place, and then all of a sudden you're forced out into this bright, bright lights, and cold. It's cold, compared to how it was in the mother's womb. So it's a shock. Plus, going through that narrow passage and such, it's got to be stressful. I mean, I don't remember it, but it must be, right? So this is telling us that birth is the first suffering. And then from there, all the others happen, right? All the others happen because of that. And then we have growing old, old age. A lot of times people say, this is the changing of the things, changing of our bodies and such as well, but no, that's the last one. There's suffering that's unique to really being old. I still remember vividly one old man who passed away at 104 when he was about 102, complaining every time I saw him about how lonely he was. This is a loneliness that only a person that's really, really old can know, because all of his friends, a lot of his relatives, some of his children, one of his grandchildren even had passed away. So he was really lonely. This is a loneliness that only a real old person can know. So this refers to the loneliness or the sufferings that only a real old person can know. And then that really old changes, right? Like I was reading a Japanese novel, and they're talking about old people that are in their 50s and 60s. And I look at that and I said, wow, I'm old. But, and then like, when they talk about people in their 70s and such, they talk about them as being really, really old, right? So it changes, though. Today, people in their 60s and 70s are still young and active. So that changes. But the sufferings that you only know when you get really old are unique. Right? And then illness. Illness is something that we can't really cope with, because especially in this day and age, this might be social commentary, but American medical industry doesn't cure anything anymore. They just treat it so that they can sell you more drugs. But they really don't study to cure things. But anyway, with illness, there's always uncertainty. And then with the illness, not only of yourself, but of those around you. There's always that uncertainty. You're always wondering, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? How's it going to turn out? And I think this is true for most men. Most of men, when we're really healthy, we're healthy, we're fine. But we get a little sick, and we think we're going to die, and we need our wives or parents, moms to look after us, or we're just terrible. And then all of a sudden we feel better, and then we start doing stuff to get worse again. But this is the way we are, right? This is the way we are. But illness is something that always worries us, right? It's always something that worries us. And then there's death, and really with death, it's more that uncertainty, right? That uncertainty. And it ties into the next one, right? When it's not just our death, but the death of those that are close to us. We feel that even more because of the fact that we have to be apart from those that we care for, right? And it doesn't matter how it happens, we're going to have situations where we can't be with the people we care for. Sometimes it could be because of a move, or even in the course of the day, we can't always be with the people we love, right? We have work to do, or school to go to, or something, and we can't be with them all the time. And as another side of this, there's the fact that sometimes, as Buddhists, we don't hate anybody, but there are some people we don't care for too much. And sometimes we have to work with them, or we have to be with them. And this is suffering too, right? This is suffering as well. So this is what we're being told. And then another aspect, this is more obvious during the holiday season last month and such, but not getting what you want. When you don't get what you want, you suffer. And most of the time it's not because you don't have what you need, but then we have these wants, and because we obsess with that idea and such, I really need this, we convince ourselves. We don't need it, we want it, right? But we convince ourselves, and we make it so that life is miserable because we're thinking only about something that we didn't get. I mean, if you didn't get it, it means you didn't have it in the first place, so why, are we worried so much about it? But this is what we're being reminded of. And then the last one is the changing of the senses. A lot of times people put this up as being a part of getting old. And aging has something to do with it, but it's not just that. It's saying that our senses change. In Buddhism, we have the 5 senses and consciousness. So our senses change. And this we see all throughout the course of life. A child, once they can understand that they can grab things and start walking around, you get into all kinds of trouble because you reach and touch, and you want to experience that. And then as you get older, sometimes people get growth spurts so that, the things that they used to be able to do easily, they can't do because their muscles, their coordination hasn't caught up to them yet. Right? And then as you get older still, things that you used to be able to do, you can't do anymore. Yeah. So even things like just standing up become a chore at times. And this is showing us that because of the changes in our bodies, we have to make adjustments. And if we don't make those adjustments, if we don't give ourselves more time to do things, it becomes a source of suffering. We get frustrated, we get mad. And what are you getting mad at? You're getting mad at your body because it's not listening to you anymore. That means you're getting mad at yourself. But these are the things that we experience in this realm. And it's saying that when you really think about it, all these things are there because of our expectations more than anything else. Right? And in the Pure Land, because there are no expectations. If we get rid of the expectations, that will always be there. You know, it will be pure. And the portion, the Kuei-Isho, is telling us that, you know, this is a world where you'll always be together with the people you want to be, you want to be with. Because each and every meeting, if you truly interact with that person, you'll always be with them. They'll always be a part of you. Because life is an interaction, you know, a part of you becomes a part of the other person becomes a part of you. And by keeping those moments alive, by truly putting yourself in that moment that you do have, you'll always be together with those people. So the Pure Land is being encouraged, you know, we're being encouraged to think about and reflect upon the Pure Land and desire to, well, the way it's put traditionally is that, you know, we want to desire to go there. But another way of looking at it is we should need to desire to build and make this realm a Pure Land, to where we truly live each instant fully for what is there, and not with our expectations, our obsessions, but to let those go, so that there is no suffering that we create ourselves. As long as we're alive, there are going to be physical pains, there are going to be issues, but rather than obsessing and staying with those, we need to move ahead, but truly treasure each and every instant for what it is. If we can do this, then the world will be a Pure Land. So thank you.